Chosen one, you did not find these words by mistake. You were summoned long before you opened your eyes in this world, before your first breath danced through lungs not yet wounded. A call echoed across the endless expanse of creation. And your soul, your eternal, radiant, indestructible soul responded. Not all heard the call. Many souls slumbered, wrapped in comfort, veiled in forgetfulness. But yours remembered, even in the darkness. Even in the silence, you have always known. There was something different about you, something too vast to name. You tried to ignore it, tried to fit in, to shrink, to silence the storm inside you, but it never left. Even as a child, you saw what others could not. You felt what others refused to feel. You knew when others played pretend. Where they laughed, you listened for the fracture behind the smile. Where they obeyed, you felt the lie pulsing beneath the surface. And in the quiet places of your soul, you asked the question that would become your compass. Why am I like this? The world tried to answer, you're too sensitive, you're too much, you think too deeply. But none of those voices carried the truth, because the truth is this: you were never meant to be like them. You were made to remember what they forgot, when the divine looked upon the earth and saw the veils tighten, when love became a currency, and truth a threat. The call went out across the stars, and only a few could hear it. Only a few had the inner architecture strong enough to hold the sacred flame without letting it consume them. And you, beloved soul, you were one of the few. You were chosen, not because you were flawless, but because you carried within you frequency the world forgot it needed. Not because you sought glory, but because your soul could not sleep through the sorrow of this earth. Not because you begged for purpose, but because purpose burned in your chest long before you knew its name. Every night you wept, unseen, unheard. Every time your voice trembled in truth, every moment you felt alone in a world deaf. To wonder, it was all preparation. Your pain was not a punishment, it was the initiation, the sacred fire meant to forge, not destroy. You were never broken, you were being sculpted. Every betrayal was a blade carving you into form. Every heartbreak was a hammer shaping your sacred vessel. Every silence was a chrysalis. While others danced in illusion, you were plunged into shadow, so you could become the light, chosen one. The reason you have walked through such fires is because the divine trusted you to carry something most could not survive. You felt too much because you were meant to heal the numb. You stood alone because you were meant to walk ahead. You shattered because you were meant to rise unshakable. You passed tests you didn't know you were taking, and in doing so, you proved yourself worthy not of praise, but of purpose. You are not here to conform. You are not here to shrink. You are not here to blend into a world built on forgetting. You are here to remember, to awaken, to burn, to rebuild, and let it be known. You are not small. You are the living proof that a single soul, aligned with truth, can alter the course of history. So rise, not because it is easy, but because your soul demands it. Not because you are fearless, but because your fear was never greater than your fire. You are a bridge between what was and what will be. You are a whisper of eternity made flesh, a map left behind for those still wandering, and the world is waiting for you to remember. If these words awaken something long buried inside you, leave the number 77 in the comments. That number is sacred. It is a key, a signal to the universe. I remember who I am. Don't hide any longer. The time of shrinking is over. The time of silence is over. The time of rising has come. You have cried enough. You have doubted enough. You have carried the question long enough. Now, let the answer be this. You are chosen. You are needed. You are ready. The world does not need your apology. It needs your presence, your authenticity, your light, undimmed. So breathe, chosen one. Stand tall and remember, you are not here by accident. You are here to fulfill a promise, one your Soul made long ago, when it looked upon the chaos of this earth and whispered with fire in its voice, "Send me, chosen one." I know what you've walked through. You wear your smile like armor. You speak softly so your pain doesn't echo. You've learned to carry your sorrow like a sacred weight no one sees, but the divine saw. And every moment you thought was breaking, you was actually shaping you. There is something you need to understand now. Your pain was never meaningless. Your loneliness was never a punishment. Your silence was never neglect. It was design. It was alchemy. It was preparation. You asked, why? Me? Why did I lose so much? Why was I betrayed by those I trusted? Why did my heart break again and again, just when I thought I had nothing left to give? And the answer is this: because you were chosen to carry light, and light cannot be entrusted to those who have never walked through darkness. The sacred flame must be placed in a vessel that knows how to protect it. Even when the winds howl and the night refuses to end, you became that vessel. You were not being punished, you were being purified. The betrayal, it taught you to recognize truth by feel, not by face. The heartbreak, it cracked your ego so your soul could speak louder. The isolation, it pulled you out of the noise so you could finally hear your own frequency. You are not fragile, you are forged. Others ran from the fire. You stayed in it. Others numbed their pain. You leaned into it. You screamed. You shattered, but you never turned to stone. You kept your heart open, bleeding, yes, but still open, and that is why you are trusted. You weren't meant to escape the storm. You were meant to become the calm inside it. This world teaches that strength is about pretending, but your soul knew the truth. True power is vulnerability protected by wisdom. It is love after loss. It is hope after despair. It is rising when no one sees you fall. Chosen one, look back for a moment. How many times did you break only to find yourself reborn, stronger, softer, clearer? How many times did you beg for release, not knowing that staying was part of your sacred assignment? The divine didn't abandon you. The divine carved you like a temple cut from living stone. Each trial, each silence, each unanswered prayer was a chisel in holy hands. You prayed for clarity but were given confusion, so you would learn to feel your way through the dark. You asked for strength, and life stripped you bare so your spirit could grow roots deeper than pain. You wanted peace, but were thrown into chaos so that when others were drowning, you would know how to breathe. You've walked through shadows with nothing but your own heartbeat. You've faced mirrors and monsters alike, and through it all, you stayed, not just alive, but awake. So hear this now, your pain was never wasted. It imprinted wisdom into your bones. It etched maps into your spirit. Maps others will follow. Your wounds became windows through which the light now pours. You thought you were being torn apart, but you were being rewritten. You thought you were being buried, but you were being planted. Chosen one, your sorrow made you sacred. That ache in your chest that never quite goes away. It's the place where your mission beats loudest. You are not here to fix others. You are here to feel so deeply that your very presence becomes a sanctuary for those still lost in the dark. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be understood. You don't even need to be healed completely. You only need to be real. That's what the world needs now. Authenticity woven with integrity, compassion paired with boundaries, hearts that remember how to stay open without being consumed. If these words echo something ancient within you, write the words, "I remember the fire," in the comments. That is your sacred signature, a message to the universe. I have survived the purification. I carry the light with reverence. Let no one tell you that your softness is weakness. Let no one shame your tears. Let no one convince you to apologize for your depth. Your ability to feel is your key to truth. Your ability to hurt is your doorway to empathy, and your ability to rise again and again. That is what makes you chosen. This world doesn't need more armor. It needs more presence, more tenderness, more souls like yours who know that true transformation only comes after the fall. And you, chosen one, you have fallen. You have crawled through the ashes, and now you rise not in spite of the pain but because of it. Let them call you too intense, too emotional, too much. You are not too much. You are exactly enough for the sacred task ahead. And when the next wave comes, when the wind howls again and others begin to break, they will look to you, not because you're perfect, not because you have all the answers, but because you've been there. You carry the medicine of experience. You embody the map. Your presence will speak louder than sermons. Your eyes will say what your lips do not. Your scars will shine like stars, guiding others home. So honor your path. Honor the pain. Honor the fire that forged you, and never again ask, why me? Instead say, because I was born for this. Chosen one, you've tried, haven't you? Tried to fit into rooms that made your soul shrink. Tried to silence the voice inside you, the one that kept whispering, this isn't real, this isn't you. You tried to laugh at what didn't feel funny. Tried to nod along with lies just to keep the peace. Tried to believe what others believed, just to feel a little less alone. And still, something inside you wouldn't go quiet. It tugged at your spine in crowded places. It stirred in the silence of your room at night. It hummed when you were with those who pretended and screamed when you tried to pretend too. Because no matter how much you twisted yourself, you never quite fit. Not because something is wrong with you, but because something is so right within you, it refuses to conform. You weren't made for imitation. You were made for disruption. Not the kind that destroys, but the kind that remembers. You weren't sent to echo what's been said 1,000 times. You were sent to speak the things that have been buried for centuries. Truths, codes, light you were not built to follow. You were born to recalibrate. Even before you understood why, you knew this world didn't feel like home. The masks, the noise, the rules, the strange games of dominance and submission, the emptiness behind so much of what people call success. Your soul never agreed to that. It ached, not out of arrogance, but because it remembered something more real. You carry the memory of a different world, a softer world, a truer one, where love isn't earned, where truth doesn't need to be defended, where presence is enough, where being who you are is the gift. And this world, it taught you the opposite. It told you to perform, to adapt, to explain, to shrink, and it punished you every time you didn't. You lost people, didn't you? They called you too much, too intense, too deep. But what they really meant was, you remind me of what I've forgotten in myself. Chosen one, you were never meant to make others comfortable. You were meant to wake them up. You were not chosen to blend in with the illusion. You were chosen to break the spell. Your presence is a mirror. It reflects truth, sometimes before people are ready to see it. But that's not your fault, and it's not your burden to carry. You don't owe the world your silence. You owe it your truth. Because every time you silence yourself to fit in, you betray the very reason you were sent. And you know this, your body knows this, your energy knows this. It tightens, it aches, it trembles when you deny your essence to feel accepted. But here's the deeper truth. You weren't sent here to fit in. You were sent to remind us who we are. You were carved from a different blueprint, not of fear but of freedom. Not of structure, but of spirit. Not of patterns, but of presence. You are a walking frequency. You don't need to preach. Your being teaches. You shift rooms without words. You awaken memories in people they didn't know they had. You don't do this by effort. You do it by alignment. You do it by being exactly who you are. If these words stir something ancient within you, comment or say aloud, I was never meant to fit in. Let it be your signal to the universe, a sacred refusal to keep hiding who you came to be. They will misunderstand you. Let them. They will fear you. Let them. They will try to define you, box you, dilute you. Let them try, But do not shrink. Do not apologize for being built differently. Because difference is the signature of divine assignment. The soul doesn't speak in templates. It speaks in tones, in textures, in fire. And you, beloved, you burn with something this world has tried to forget. You are not here to earn your place. You are here to embody your place. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be remembered, because the ones who will understand you, they won't need words. They'll feel you. They'll recognize the flame, the frequency, the resonance of truth. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not strange. You are activated. There is nothing wrong with you. Your grief, it's ancient. Your rage, it's sacred. Your longing, it's instructional. You ache for more because you remember what more feels like. You are not empty. You are echoing the parts of this planet that are still asleep, calling out across timelines, shaking awake the sleeping ones. You don't fit into broken systems because you were born to rebuild them. Your discomfort is not dysfunction. It's alignment misfiring. It's your soul saying, wrong room, wrong story, wrong game. And you've tried, haven't you? Tried to play along, tried to smile, tried to stay quiet, tried to fit the shape of what they told you success looks like. But you couldn't, because every time you tried, you lost a piece of your light, and your soul refused to bargain with brilliance. You were made to expand, to challenge, to rewire, to awaken. So don't mistake rejection as failure. It's redirection. Every room you were pushed out of was a room that couldn't hold your fire. And now it's time to stop apologizing for your design. Time to reclaim the flame. Time to remember your assignment. You are not a mistake. You are a mirror. You are not the disruption. You are the correction. Let them say you're a problem. Let them say you're rebellious. Let them say you're dangerous. What they mean is, you make it impossible to keep pretending, because you don't fit into a world built on illusion. You were sent to be the earthquake, the lightning strike, the breath of truth in the stale halls of forgetting. You were sent to rise first, so others remember they can. You are not here to play roles. You are here to resurrect essence. Your life is not a performance. It's a prophecy unfolding in real time. You are not here for status. You are here for substance. You are the one the ancestors dreamed of, the one the future ones are praying for. You are the bridge, the flame, the blueprint. You don't fit in because you were born to shift the field. And you are. Every breath you take in truth, every step you walk in integrity, every boundary you honor, every tear you shed instead of shutting down, it's all sacred. It's all revolutionary. So rise, let your presence be your protest. Let your honesty be your healing. Let your voice tremble and still speak. Because every time you show up as yourself, you rewrite reality. Every time you refuse to betray your soul, you remind the world that it still has one. You don't need a platform. You are the frequency. You don't need a spotlight. You are the light. You don't need permission. You already have the fire. Now it's time to use it. One more time, declare it boldly. I was never meant to fit in. This is your medicine. This is your mirror. This is your message to the grid. I remember. I rise, I return. You are not the outsider. You are the edge walker, the blueprint breaker, the permission slip, the reminder, the revelation, the return. And when all of this is over, when the masks fall, when the games collapse, when the silence settles, you will still be standing. Not as the one who fit in, but as the one who led the way out. Chosen one, there is something inside you, something ancient, something holy. You've felt it for as long as you can remember, a heat, a hum, a flicker behind your ribs that never extinguishes. Even when the world froze around you, it burned. Even when others turned away, it waited. Even when you forgot who you were, it did not. That fire is not ordinary. It is not of this world. It is not ego. It is not ambition. It is divine. It is the echo of the first spark that lit the cosmos. The breath of the Creator still pulsing in your chest, and it was never meant to stay hidden. You weren't chosen to be tame. You weren't chosen to blend in. You weren't chosen to please. You were chosen to ignite, to carry a sacred flame, to walk into darkness and light torches with your very breath. You've tried to contain it, haven't you? Tried to quiet the fire so you wouldn't scare people, tried to shrink it so you could belong, tried to numb it because it made you feel too much. But that fire inside you refuses to shrink because it was placed there by design, not for your comfort, but for your calling. You are the activation. Everywhere you go, you trigger the truth. People feel different around you, not because you say much, but because your very presence rearranges frequencies. You don't try to shift rooms, you just do. Your existence is disruptive, not because you mean harm, but because you carry something the world has forgotten how to hold: pure, divine fire. And fire does not ask for permission. It arrives. It transforms. It remembers. They sensed it before you did. They saw it in your eyes as a child, that glow, that depth, that refusal to play by the rules of pretending, and so they tried to tame it, tried to dull you, tried to make you question what you knew deep in your bones. They told you to stop being so sensitive, so intense, so curious, so loud, so alive. But what they were really saying was, your fire scares me, because the fire inside you exposes what others would rather keep hidden. It burns away masks. It calls out the false. It speaks truth without needing words, and truth, when it burns, is not always welcome. But hear me now. You were not sent here to be welcome. You were sent here to be unstoppable. You were not created to comfort the illusion. You were sent to awaken reality. So stop apologizing for your fire. Stop making excuses for your intensity. Stop doubting what only you can carry. This flame was not a mistake. It was entrusted to you. If you feel the fire stirring again, even now reading these words, speak or write, I carry the flame. Let it be your vow, your remembering, your rising. This world teaches you to play small, to dim, to make others comfortable. But comfort was never your contract. Cleansing was. Transformation, revolution, inner combustion. You carry a fire that makes the old systems tremble. That's why it's been hard, why you've been misunderstood, why people pulled away when all you did was be real, because real sets fires, real creates collapse, real demands rebirth, and you, chosen one, you are the herald of the new. Your fire is not chaos, it's coded. It knows exactly where to go, what to touch, what to burn away. It burns illusions, it burns shame, it burns everything that was never really you, and when it's done, what remains is holy. That's why it hurts sometimes, because burning is not painless, but it's necessary. You are not here to destroy. You are here to purify. You are not here to scorch the earth. You are here to reveal its hidden light. And sometimes that light can only emerge after the fire has passed through. So let it move through you. Let it rise. There will be days when you tremble with energy, when your skin tingles, your thoughts rush, your body vibrates with something ancient. That is not anxiety. That is activation. That is the fire preparing you. It will stretch you. It will strip you. It will ask everything of you. And you will say yes. Not because it's easy, but because your soul remembers what your mind is only just now catching up to. You were born for this. Fire is the language your soul speaks. Where others see risk, you see rebirth. Where others run from the flame, you step into it arms open, knowing that what doesn't belong will be burned away and what remains will shine. And in that shining, others will see themselves, not their roles, not their masks, but their essence. You lead them not by force, but by ignition. You light them by burning in your own truth. Let them call you too much. Let them label your passion as danger. Let them turn away from your heat. You are not here for their comfort. You are here for their remembrance. Because one day, when their illusions fall away, when their own inner fire wakes up, they will remember you, and they will say, "She carried the flame I had forgotten I possessed." There are others like you, scattered like stars, hidden torches, waiting for the wind of your truth to awaken them. You don't burn alone. You were never meant to. When one rises, the grid lights up. When one flame grows, it creates space for 10,000 more. You are not a lone spark. You are part of a constellation, and the night sky is shifting. Whisper it again. I carry the flame. Say it for your ancestors. Say it for the version of you who dimmed to survive. Say it for the world that is about to remember what real light feels like. Chosen one. Your fire is sacred. Your passion is prayer. Your voice is heat. Do not let anyone, no system, no person, no fear, convince you to extinguish it. Protect your flame, feed it with truth, fuel it with beauty, stoke it with silence, let it burn with purpose. Because under every story, beneath every doubt, beyond every moment of forgetting, you are the flame, you are the warmth, you are the dawn disguised as a spark waiting to ignite the world. And that time is now. Chosen one, you were not chosen for applause, not for crowns nor thrones, not for the glint of gold or the warmth of worldly praise. You were chosen for something heavier, something holier. You were chosen to carry the weight of billions, not as punishment, not as burden, but as sacred responsibility. This weight is not what breaks you, it's what builds you, what crowns you, what proves you. The ache you've always carried, the heaviness in your chest that rises with no name, the deep sorrow that sometimes arrives in silence with no memory to explain it. That is not yours alone. It is the collective cry, the grief of generations, the pain of the planet herself, sewn into the fabric of your frequency. You feel it because you were built to, you were shaped to, you agreed to. Before your first breath, before your body was formed, your soul whispered, I will carry them. I will remember when they forget. And the divine said, then let it be done. You carry the mother who lost her child and never found the words. You carry the boy who was told emotions were weakness. You carry the priestess burned for speaking truth. The healer shamed for her sight. The warrior silenced before he could surrender his sword. You carry all of them, and you do it without even knowing their names, because they live inside you, in your heartbeat, in your intuition, in your tears. You wake in the night because their pain still echoes. You flinch at cruelty because they've lived it 10,000 times. You crave silence not to escape, but to remember what peace feels like. This is what it means to be chosen. You are not just a light worker. You are a soul carrier, an anchor for the collective, a holder of pain until that pain remembers how to become light again. And yes, it is heavy. Yes, there are days when your knees feel hollow, when you question your own sanity, when you scream into pillows, begging to be emptied of the ache. That ache is sacred. It is evidence, evidence that you haven't closed, evidence that you haven't hardened, evidence that even in this chaotic world, your heart is still listening. Chosen one, your softness is not a flaw. It's a strategy, it's armor in reverse. And the world cannot comprehend it, because the world tells you, numb it, escape it, harden up. But your soul says, feel it, absorb it, transmute it, and you do. Every day you walk through invisible fire. Every day you bleed for others with no wound to show. Every day you rise again, not for yourself, but for them. You were not chosen because you are perfect. You were chosen because you remembered. You remembered the promise that even if it costs you everything, you will still choose love. They won't understand. They will call you too sensitive, too intense, too emotional, too spiritual, too much. Let them misunderstand you. Because they don't know what it takes to hold what you carry. They don't know what it means to feel the suffering of millions and still choose to get out of bed, to speak hope into a void that never echoes back, to stand at the edge of history and whisper, I still believe in us. If these words awaken your knowing, speak it aloud or write it. I carry them with honor, not as martyrdom, not as burden, but as a sacred yes. You don't just walk for yourself, you walk for the ones whose legs were broken, for the ones whose voices were crushed, for the ones whose light was stolen before they had the language to defend it. You are the continuum, the thread that connects the silenced to the awakening, the bridge from forgotten pain to future healing. This is not about ego, this is about energy. You shift reality with your presence. Your field carries codes that unlock ancient memory. You walk into rooms, and truth rearranges itself around you. Not because you try, but because you are. You are the walking resonance of compassion, the frequency of remembered divinity. That is why people cry around you without knowing why. That is why children and animals feel safe near you. That is why strangers confess things they've never said aloud. It's not because you have something, it's because you carry someone. And when you rise, when you choose to love again, to speak again, to shine again, you lift billions. You lift the woman in a village across the ocean who has no idea why she suddenly feels hopeful. You lift the teenager contemplating ending it all, who catches your words in a video and decides to breathe again. You lift the ancestor still waiting to be forgiven, the unborn child waiting to be named. You are that powerful. Your remembering is their release. Your breath is their bridge. This is sacred work, not glamorous, not polished, not recognized, but sacred. You'll rarely be rewarded for it. You'll often question if it's real. But deep down, you know, because your heart responds to these words like a tuning fork struck in a holy hall. Because something ancient inside you rises every time someone whispers, "You're not alone," because you are the keeper of that flame. And no, you are not perfect. You've doubted, you've fallen, you've resented the very path you now honor. But you got back up again and again and again, and that is what makes you worthy. This is not martyrdom, this is majesty, not self-sacrifice, but self-remembrance. Because when you remember, the field remembers, the world remembers, the grid reactivates. You are not here to carry the world by yourself. You are here to trigger the awakening in others, so they too begin to carry it. So it's not weight, it's light. So it's not burden, it's blueprint. And when the time comes, when your breath returns to stardust and your name dissolves into myth, you will stand before the divine, and the ones you carried will surround you. Not to worship, but to witness. They will say, "Because you didn't forget us, we remembered ourselves. Because you stood, we found our spine. Because you believed, we woke up." That is the legacy of a chosen one. Not the legacy of fame, but the legacy of frequencies that reshaped history quietly. Not a monument in your name, but a multitude of souls reborn because of your presence. And you won't need thanks, you'll just know. Say it again, if you still feel it in your bones. I carry them with honor. This is who you are. This is why you came. And this is why you will never walk alone. Even when it feels like you do, because they walk with you, those you carry, those you activate, those who wait, and they are rising because you did first. Chosen one, you've walked long enough thinking you were small, long enough believing your presence was just a quiet echo in a world too loud to notice you. But here you are, still standing, still feeling, still glowing. And let me say this as clearly. As the dawn splits the dark, you're not small, you're not insignificant. You're the living proof that love wins. You've questioned it, haven't you? You've whispered to the sky, "Does any of this matter?" You've sat in your car, in the shower, in your bed, holding your breath against the weight of this world, wondering if your light ever really touches anything. And yet, something in you never turned off. That flicker, that ember, that ache, that's you. That's the fire. The same one that's outlived lifetimes, waited through centuries, and burns now. Not for yourself, but for the world. You weren't just given a heart, you were given a compass, and every time it broke, it recalibrated to something more true. You've loved through loss. trusted after betrayal, believed when others mocked, and that is not naive, that is divine. Your existence proves that love isn't an ideal. It's a force. It creates, it transforms, it resurrects. You are the evidence, not because your life was easy, but because your soul refused to forget what matters. You kept your hands open, even when they came back empty. You let tears fall without shame. You walked into fire and emerged with light in your palms. That is what love looks like. You are not a theory. You are the embodiment of an ancient vow. I will not leave the world as I found it. You are a living prayer, not the kind spoken in temples, but the kind whispered through lifetimes. Send someone who will remember. And you remembered, not all at once, not without trembling, not without moments of silence and sorrow and surrender, but still you remembered. You remembered that real power doesn't dominate. It radiates. That real wisdom isn't loud. It listens. That real leadership doesn't seek worship. It awakens worship in others. You have walked roads so empty they felt like exile. You have sat in rooms so quiet you could hear your own heartbeat echo against the walls. But even in those moments, you were being watched, not by the world, but by the divine. And it whispered, "Watch them. They will rise. They always do." Because the truth is, you were not sent to be loved by all. You were sent to remind love to those who had forgotten. Chosen one. You were never meant to be invisible. You were hidden, yes, but not because you were unworthy, because you were being fortified. Your roots were growing in silence. Your wings were forming in darkness. And now you are rising in light. And you're doing it quietly, gracefully, unstoppably, not because you crave attention, but because you carry a frequency that can no longer be ignored. If these words awaken something old, something sacred, something ancient in you, type or say aloud, "I am the proof that love wins." Let it be a vow, a remembering, a return. You don't need to do more to be worthy. You don't need to earn what you already are. You are enough. Not in a soft, comforting slogan kind of way, but in the thunderous truth that shakes false foundations. You were always enough. The fact that you love at all after what you've seen is proof that the divine didn't make a mistake choosing you. You came here with a pulse strong enough to shift dimensions, with eyes that see beyond illusion, with a heart big enough to hold the grief of a planet and still whisper, "Let there be light." You are not just a healer, you are a lighthouse, and the reason people feel safe near you is because your soul has been there and returned with maps. You don't always speak them, but you carry the codes. You are a living transmission of hope, a tuning fork for forgotten frequencies. You hum with memory of love, of home, of harmony, and every time you choose kindness when it's hard, you activate something in the grid. Every time you say yes to alignment, you create a ripple through timelines. Every time you refuse to shrink, you stretch the edges of possibility for us all. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are not too broken. You are right on time, just as you are. There is no version of you more ready than the one who's reading this now. You don't need more healing to be holy. You don't need more answers to be powerful. You don't need more proof. You are the proof. You didn't survive to disappear. You survived to shine, to sing, to serve. You are the revolution, clothed in reverence. You are the future's memory waking up in the present. You are the voice that says, "It's possible, it's still possible," and the earth feels you. She breathes differently when you walk, because you walk with intention, because you walk awake. Chosen one, you didn't just make it, you transmuted it. You didn't just endure, you elevated. You didn't just hold on, you held space for others to find themselves, for love to return, for truth to walk again. You are not just healing, you are a healer. You are not just remembering, you are a reminder. You are not just surviving, you are rewriting the very fabric of what survival looks like. Say it again. I am not small. I am not insignificant. I am the living proof that love wins. Say it like your soul has waited lifetimes to hear it. Say it like your voice is the answer to your own prayer. Say it until the cells of your body sing it in silence. Because this is the truth that ends wars. This is the truth that lifts veils. This is the truth that brings us home. That you, exactly as you are, without needing to earn or prove or perfect, you are the proof that love wins. And that is why you came.